Welcome to episode 38 of the MMG podcast. I am Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend, Go Cubs 711.
So on TV, you can say the word ass, and you can say the word hole, but when you say asshole, they bleep out the whole part.
Yeah.
Why?
I...
Because like ass is okay, but they can't make you think of the hole.
Listen, the Christian children can't know that their ass has a hole, okay? You can't give them that information.
I feel like that's something that they just know, though.
It is your skin. Your skin is, it's just all skin there.
I don't want to keep having this conversation.
Wait, you opened it up to it. Just saying.
Yeah, then you continued it.
Alright, welcome to a very sick edition of the MMG podcast in various ways, literally and figuratively.
Try to not make Chris die from laughing.
Yeah, so I am recovering from a cold. I'm on the back end of it. So I'm glad I'm at least somewhat healthy to do this podcast. I have a little bit of energy. Yeah, interesting week of football. And a lot of marquee matchups, and a lot of, once again, a lot of, like, confusion overall, but for once, we got a Titans pick right, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
That's it. That is what matters. That's what we're gonna stand by. That's gonna be our tombstone. We got a Titans pick right, for once.
Yes.
We'll see if that trend continues this week, but for now, let's rewind it to last week's action, and we're gonna start with the game of the week. And it was tough because you had to choose between Sunday Night Football and the marquee match of Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, and then the other marquee matchup of Aaron Rodgers versus CJ Beathard. And it turns out both games were good. But the one, of course, that everyone's going to be talking about, and the one that I think ended up being the better game, was Chiefs at Patriots. And this was another shootout. The Chiefs, I think, struggled in the beginning. Patrick Mahomes kind of buckled under the pressure of Foxborough through a few nasty interceptions in the first half. A lot of it was because the Patriots defense actually stepped up, but for the most part, that was the only kind of defense the entire game, because it was just a back and forth and fair. Came down to about 3 minutes left in the game. Patrick Mahomes gets ready for a drive, throws one pass all the way down the field to Tyreek Hill, who runs all the way into the end zone for a touchdown, leaving way too much time on the clock. And then Tom Brady comes out, and he throws a deep pass to Rob Gronkowski, which the Chiefs defender tackles him, but they had a minute 20 on the clock. If he let him score, there was a good chance that Patrick Mahomes could have set the team up for success and could have gotten a touchdown at least at that point and gone to overtime. But you don't think about that at the time when you're making the play. But nonetheless, he got tackled, and Gronkowski comes out for the game-winning field goal. The Patriots win 43-40. And I mean, despite the difficulties in the first half, the Chiefs, they have a lot to be proud about.
Yeah. It's not easy to face the Patriots, especially a rookie quarterback in Foxborough,
right,
and to play as close as they did, and as close as they do in literally every game because their defense is trash. It's good to see that they, even with as bad as their defense is, they will be postseason contenders, I believe.
For sure, and both of them will be, and I think a lot of people are putting a lot of stake in this potentially being the AFC Championship rematch. We saw what happened last year with that, though. The Jaguars kind of stole the show from the Steelers. Everyone would expect the Steelers-Patriots being the AFC Championship game, but this one has a pretty good chance of happening. You look at the Patriots now. They went from 1-2, they're now 4-2, and I'm like, well, here we are again, back to the old grind. And I know that we have hopes that this week that we could see something happen, or in the future weeks that we could see some them get toppled. I mean, they do have to face Aaron Rodgers at some point in the season.
Yes.
Uh, they do have to face, like I said, the Bears defense this week. They have the Vikings later on the year. They have the Steelers, of course, who've at least competed toughly against the Patriots in recent years. So they have a tough schedule, but I don't really see them slowing down. And the Chiefs, this is a hiccup, and it's gonna sting the fact that they couldn't get the win. But there was so much optimism after the game in the locker room that it just felt like they were ready to go to the next game and kick ass. So I have faith that this team is just gonna keep winning. They're not
They're gonna be fine.
Yeah. It's last year they started 5-0, and it was a tumble to almost, I think, a losing record, and then they finally kind of pulled through, got to 10-6, and at least made it to the wild card round. But I just don't see it happening with Patrick Mahomes leading the way. He has lifted this team, and he's helped this team get to a good place at this point. But yeah, I think that covers it for Chiefs Patriots. Anything else that you'd like to add for either of these tems?
Not really.
All right, let's move on. Go ahead.
I want to see the Chiefs succeed.
Yeah,
I just hope that they can finish and get to the postseason.
That's the big question mark, because I feel like we've seen this before. The Chiefs, I feel like in recent years they've had a 1-5 start, like a few seasons ago, and then they like completely like kicked ass all the way to the playoff and made it to like 11-5 into the playoffs, where they beat the Texans and and then unfortunately lost the game against the Patriots in that playoffs. I think that was 2015. And then last year with the 5-0, and then kind of tumbling into the playoffs. Hopefully I would like to see consistency from this group. I want to see a consistently good team, and we'll see what happens. They'll get another Sunday Night Football spotlight this week. Next up, blowout of the week, Jaguars at Cowboys, and you would think that we'd be talking about the boys losing big to the Jaguars, but it was the exact opposite here, as the Cowboys have found their offense. Dak Prescott has kind of reclaimed himself as being a good quarterback, a running quarterback at that. Ezekiel Elliott is once again back at the top of being a good running back, very good running back, one of the best in the league. And the Jaguars defense was absolutely exposed. Blake Bortles had yet another bad game, and despite some pretty throws here and there, and they are now desperately missing Leonard Fournette. This is just rest in peace. Rest in peace, Jaguars right now.
Rest in peace, my Jaguar print dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think they'll recover. I hope they recover. They have a tough matchup this upcoming week, I think. Like, tougher than it maybe should be.
Mm-hmm.
Against another team from the Yeehaw state.
Yeah, that's true.
But then they go into a bye, so maybe Fournette will be able to come back from that. They then go face the Colts, then and then the Steelers, and then the sorry, it's just loading.
No problem.
And then the Bills. So they have a relatively easy schedule coming up, so that might be able to help them like
get back in it,
rebound. But
yeah,
this game was just, oh hey, this is the Dallas that went undefeated except against the Giants 2 years ago.
Right. Exactly. Like,
which is a wild thing to say, but
yeah, right. And I think about the Jaguars, and I'm on my last thread of Jaguars fever right now, because I really want them to do well, and it's the Bortles. I really wonder when this is going to turn around for him, where he can consistently have good games, and I worry about the defenses that could give up so much in the running game. after especially after last year with Marcel Darius, they added him to help that running game, and it worked. And against the Cowboys, it just was absolutely abysmal.
Mm.
And so I'm hoping that they could turn things around. Um, as for the Cowboys, credit to Jason Garrett, who took a lot of criticism for not going for it on fourth down last week, and a lot of people thinking, how long is he going to be on, be on the team, like.
Forever, because he kisses Jerry Jones's ass.
Well, right, and that's the big thing. Like, he's a yes man to
Yes.
to Jerry Jones, and so like I don't really know if he's gonna get fired anytime soon, but the big thing is that it seems like they have realized how that they have a ton of potential at home. But once that leaves the building, what the hell happens to this team? They have to find consistency on the road and get some wins.
This game, I believe, was an outlier for the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Cole Beasley will not continue to be that type of receiver.
It is stunning to me that they were able to turn it around against the Jaguars of all teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this was just one of those games that was just the sparks were beginning to fly for them, and they were really beginning to start to build something, or like you said, that it might just be that this was a really big game for them that they really wanted to win, and they just pulled it off. I would like to see this happen back to back. I would like to see a back to back really good offensive performance before I could really start to think, oh hey, this is gonna mean something.
Hey, the Cowboys have a reliable receiver.
Right.
I mean, yeah, like we knew from the beginning that Zeke was going to be mainly the offense.
Yeah.
I still think that's going to be true going forward.
Oh, for sure. The running game was what dominated this game for the most part.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's not going to change for them going forward.
Yeah.
So.
Let us move on to the team chaos of the week. A few options here, but I went with Panthers at the Redskins. After being absolutely I'm sorry, we're really going after the cat teams in this one.
Yeah.
The Redskins were absolutely torn to shreds by Drew Brees in New Orleans. It was a special night. Of course, but it was just really not a good night for Washington. But
Washington has developed Alex Smith syndrome.
he has not. I gotta say though, he has not had as good of a year as we initially thought. Because I was looking at some of his numbers, and I went back and watched some of like some of his games a little bit. And he's been good for what he has around him, but I think he's really missing not having those more wide receivers to work around.
Those elite playmakers like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
Right, yeah. I feel like last year was especially was really helpful for him. I think
he had a good year last year.
Yeah, so I think it makes sense for him to have a back to downgrade a little bit, but I mean the big part of this game was that the defense for the Redskins stepped up, and Adrian Peterson, he played some limited snaps because he was not as healthy, but he was still playing very well. And Chris Thompson was part of the game plan as well. And it was a good game for the Redskins, and the Panthers tried to come back, and it was a weird game because you think Greg Olsen, he comes back sooner than we initially thought. Thomas Davis is back for the team. All these players are back for the Panthers. They have to be good, and then it doesn't work out. And again, the defense kind of came out during the second half and started playing really well, but the offense just could not get it done, and so this is their second loss of the year, and that's not too bad though. You're at 2 losses. You're still got a winning record. The Panthers are in good shape, still.
Yeah, and given the holes of defense, I will say, in the rest of their division, even extending to the Saints a bit, I think they're going to have a pretty easy time going forward, especially against I know they lost to the Falcons already, but. 1 more game with the Falcons, 2 games with the Buccaneers. They play a lot of they play the rest of the NFC East.
Yeah.
So the Giants. No, they already played the Giants. So, they just have the Eagles left then.
Yes, that's
Which they
correct.
play this week. Okay, so never mind. Never mind on that front. Um,
They have
who
a
else do
lot
they
of the
play?
AFC North left.
Yes. Which Baltimore may be trouble, but still got Cleveland.
Still got Steelers as well.
Still got Steelers.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, I think ultimately that you got some really difficult offensive tests throughout a lot of those games. But if you can, I mean, North Turner has really he's done a relatively good job with this team thus far. Um, and Christian McCaffrey has had a pretty good year. And it was just a bad game for DJ Moore, or the rookie wide receiver
Yes.
who fumbled a bunch of, or at least two passes that he caught. Um, so it was not a good game for him. I think I think might have lost the game overall,
Mm.
because it put the Redskins in good places to score. Um, but it was not a it was definitely not it was not a great performance for the offense this time, but they'll try to come back next week.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm not too much either. Next up, the most surprising team for you. Go Cubs. Go. You could start on this one.
My most surprising team was the San Francisco 49ers, even with their loss, uh, being like literally only losing because of an Aaron Rodgers miracle, which happens so fucking much. God damn it. Like they played really well against that team. Um, CJ Beathard had really good passes, especially to like Marquise Goodwin. The running backs seem to be doing well. George Kittle is great.
George Kittle
I still
is
stand by that the
underrated.
Packers aren't good without Aaron Rodgers, but that just proves that Aaron Rodgers is the greatest football player of this generation.
Definitely the defense for the Packers is a big concern. But anyways, we're not necessarily talking about the Packers in this one.
Yeah.
The Niners, I mean, I think a lot of people jumped on the, oh god, the Niners are going to be terrible for prime time like way too soon, because you
Uh,
never know what kind of circumstances that they're going to be in that they might have a chance to make a game fun. And CJ Beathard played a dynamite game. Like he was had a perfect passer rating for a lot of the game. And despite he had a last minute pick when he tossed it up high, and they are able to return it. And of course, yeah, like I said, Aaron Rodgers kind of he was able to drive the team down and get Mason Crosby in position for the game-winning field goal. But I don't think that the Niners, the team, should be too worried. I mean, their defense gave up a lot of points, uh,
yeah,
and that
and I mean they're 1-5, so they're probably not gonna make a playoff run
I don't think so either.
by any means. But
No.
like next year, they're gonna be okay.
Yeah, and I mean, like, look at Matt Breda, man. I mean, the guy,
Matt Breida.
no one was really talking about him at all because everyone was like on the Jerick McKinnon train, and many people thought that Alfred Morris would take over after McKinnon went down with injury. But Matt Breda has had a
Great.
hell of a season. Lost his lead in the rushing title for a while, but he generally has been doing really well, and he showed it last night. And Marquise Goodwin, of course, has been a great wide receiver for this team. So I'm not too. I think the Niners they're gonna have a year in which their games will be fun to watch. I don't know if they're gonna make the playoffs at all. But yeah, definitely surprising because I think a lot of people thought this was gonna be a blowout. So good for them. Um, my most surprising team was the Los Angeles Chargers, and not so much that they won. I did pick against them because just crossing my fingers.
Why do you defend the Browns? No, I'm kidding.
Listen, the Browns are different this year. You know it.
They are. They are.
But
I 100% agree.
yeah, it
But
was.
also, they're still poop.
Well, yes, no, they still have a while to go. It's not
Yeah.
they're not gonna be they're not gonna be winners every single game, but
Uh,
the Chargers have proven themselves to be back. It seemed like they were off to a rough start this year, even though they were only 2-2.
mhm.
And even though they barely beat the Niners. Now we kind of know that the Niners are just gonna be a tough out. It seems like.
Yeah.
But the Chargers, man, their offense is on fire. Phillip Rivers specifically has had an incredible year. Tyrell Williams has come out and played very well at the wide receiver position for
Melvin
them.
Gordon is awesome.
Melvin Gordon, oh my God, he's running for his life, doing a great job. And the defense, the defense has done its job. Derwin James should be among the Rookie of the Year candidates. And the biggest question is going to be, what is this team going to look like when Joey Bosa gets back? I guess this shouldn't be much of a question. They're going to look great.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun once he gets back. So, yeah, the Chargers are, everyone's going to be talking about the Rams right now because they're 6-0, but you got two Los Angeles teams right there that are going to be a lot of fun to watch. And, maybe, just maybe, they could challenge the Chiefs. We'll see.
Maybe.
Cough break, I'm sorry.
Gotta wait till they match up again.
Yeah, if it'll either be in the next 4 years or maybe in the Super Bowl. We'll see. But let us move to the disappointing teams, and I guess I'll start with this one. I went with the Bengals, and mostly because they did play a close game overall.
It was only one score.
It was only one score. But they disappoint me just for the fact that they have such a bad record against the Steelers, and it felt like the right time. You're 4-1. You could be 5-1. You could have extended your lead in this division, and could have really buried the Steelers here. And instead you lose, and now Ravens are back in it, or we're right up against you right now. The Steelers are just a half a game back from you now. That they could figure out a way to pass you at some point. It opens up a whole new can of worms. And so in that way, I'm disappointed, and I think that I think AJ Green is starting to get better as the year goes on, and Tyler Boyd is still there. I need to drink in a second, but it is very much the Bengals. I still trust. I still think they're a good team. I'm very disappointed that they missed their opportunity here. And also, Vontaze Burfict, get the fuck out of the NFL. Get out of here. You taint this team. And I don't care how many of your teammates like you. You're a horrible human being, and you need to get out of the NFL. I'm sorry. I'm done with you. I've been done with you for the minute that you started causing issues.
Still couldn't believe that he was the reason that the Bengals lost in the playoffs 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, literally, he was the reason.
Yeah. It's
against the Steelers, because he literally all he had to do was not foul someone.
Right.
And then get a 50 fucking yard penalty that allowed the Steelers to score.
That's what's insane to me, and they keep him on just because, he's a good player, and he is. There's no denying he's a good player, but is he? Does that at some point you have to weigh whether or not that actually matters for your team and your success going forward? It makes me really question the way that organizations run, generally. What's your most disappointing team?
I'm gonna go with the team that at one point their quarterback had 10 completions and had been sacked 11 times. That is the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
They are up. They're down. They've been down 2 games in a row. I understand losing to the Ravens, but they still lost to the fucking Bills last week. What the fuck is going on? You were supposed to be better, and you're not. And I don't know if it's coaching, if it's Mariota, if it's their injuries, what it is. But man, not being able to do anything against Baltimore is either shows how good Baltimore is this year, or just shows that Tennessee is in trouble in the near future. And they're like slow rise to prominence in the past couple of years will be quickly shot down.
Mm-hmm.
They may need replace him for Mariota. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the Mariota, he has his moments, but the big thing that he just, I feel like he just really struggles under pressure. Um, Defenses, which is like, obviously that's common with any quarterback, but like there are some of the great ones are the ones that are able to get the ball out quickly, and he just has weird mechanics when he gets pressure, especially that number that you're talking about. To add on to that, I think it was ultimately they had like he threw the ball. He had like 15 attempts on the ball, but he dropped back like 28 times to pass the ball. And it's because that number is so big. It's because of the 11 sacks that the Ravens had on the Titans on the year, or on the season, or God, on the game,
fucking game,
in the singular game. But it is really a very, very rough situation that's happening with the Titans, because their offensive line was supposed to be their strength, and it was not in this game.
Nope.
Everything was
Can I
just
do?
shut
Can I
down.
do a little thing just because I think it's interesting?
Just go ahead.
So I'm gonna read off the Heisman Trophy winners since 2008.
Yeah.
And just talk about what are they doing?
Yeah.
What are they doing right now? Sam Bradford, third string behind Mike Glennon.
Yeah, he's not. He is probably out of the league at this point.
Mark Ingram just got back from suspension, doing pretty well for himself. I would say.
Yeah.
Probably not going to be on the Saints next year. He'll probably get traded away, but still a good running back.
Yeah.
Will be in the league. Okay, there you go. Cam Newton,
doing well.
I'd say doing pretty well.
Yeah.
RG3. No.
He's the third string on the Ravens.
Third string on the Ravens, behind a rookie.
Yeah.
Johnny Manziel. Next question. Jameis Winston, starting quarterback. Terrible person. Terrible quarterback. Probably not gonna. I don't think he's gonna be around much longer. 2014, Mariota. Same thing applies. 2015, Derrick Henry. Same team, similar issues. Like he's not doing as well as his as like you would expect him to, like both as a Titans player and just as a running back in general.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lamar Jackson, too early to tell what he'll do in the NFL. And then Baker Mayfield, again, Baker's doing well, but his only has 2 career starts or 3 career starts. I don't know. Either way,
it's around there.
Around that. So, like, with the exception of Mark Ingram, Cam Newton, like Mark Ingram and Cam Newton are the exceptions over the past 10 years in terms of like people who have done well, Heisman winners who have done well. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, it's interesting because it feels like over time that the NFL is really starting to adapt a lot of college aspects, college college books, just try using as much of the college concepts as possible in their offenses and defenses, more specifically offenses. But it seems like that the longer that you look down the list, the more iffiness because of the players that get that Heisman Trophy. It's just a different level. It's a much different level than at the NFL that they're crowned these great players at the college football level, and then once they get to the NFL, they just kind of fizzle out. One thing on Jameis, before we move on to our picks, he played in the game against the Falcons. He played well. In fact, he was the highest rated. I think he was the highest rated fantasy quarterback in the league last week.
I believe he was until Mahomes.
Until Mahomes, right?
Yes.
But I'm not saying that he has a lot of weapons around him.
He has a lot of weapons around him, but that was against the Falcons defense that everyone scores a lot on.
Right. No,
he hasn't done things like that.
Right. I would like to see more. Just pointing out that I would like to see how he does this year. Maybe he gets more tougher defenses. before I really make a final assessment of him. But
Yeah.
I have not really been impressed with him. And Mariota, yeah, he's a good person, but he has just yet to find himself.
Yeah.
In the NFL, and I'm sure that if he does not work out with the Titans, he'll go somewhere else, and I'm sure someone else will give him a shot.
Other places still may need quarterbacks.
Right? Yeah, I'm sure another team will take him and see if they can make him into what they want, what the Titans wanted when they drafted him. But right now, it's not looking good for for that team. It's 2015 draft is generally very, very strange if you look back on it. But anyways,
Sorry, went off into that tangent. Let's move on.
No, all good. Let's do our picks.
I've stopped the home away thing, by the way.
Oh yeah, why? How was that? How was the home wins this week?
Well, this week, let me just count it up. The away team won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So not great.
It was 9-6. 9-6 overall.
9-6 home.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is done.
Yeah.
Bold predictions suck.
Well, it's all right. It happens. But last week, you also went 9-6 in your predictions. I edged you out at the last second with the Chiefs Patriots pick. Sorry, had to go Pats.
No, I know.
So
I understand.
And so that we are right now only one off of each other right now in terms of our record, but you are still leading 12-7 because of the added.
I'm the master of chaos.
The added chaos and the fucking guarantees are killing me.
Choose better teams.
Yeah. Well, we both got our guarantee last week. Last week was, I think, our first normal week where Team Chaos lost and the guarantees won.
We got our guarantees. I almost yeah. I was a little bit nervous about my guarantee, but
you pulled through. The Jets pulled through. This week, we'll see how they do. What we got. And by the way, like you said earlier, the Titans got the pick, so we're no longer losing. We're no longer winless, and I'm no longer winless against the Packers as well because I picked them correctly to win.
Excellent.
So now it's the Rams for both of us, 6-0, correctly picked, and the Seahawks for you, 6-0. You won't have the Seahawks this week; they are on a bye, but
that's just another week where I'll get their pick right.
Right, exactly. No pick, exactly. That adds to the record. Anyways, that's it for the updates on that. Let's pick the games, and we'll start with Thursday Night Football. Broncos at Cardinals. Oh boy, this is a beginning of a nice stretch with Thursday Night Football. Sarcasm. Broncos are in a tailspin. They are now 2-4, and they are looking for any ounce of hope that they can patch up for the season. They did play the Rams a little close last week. But now they go to Arizona, who also almost played the Vikings close, but again, they pulled away as well.
You said tailspin, I just imagined a horse spinning around really fast.
Now, that actually took you a little while. I feel like you went into that daydream.
I wanted you to finish your sentence.
But the Cardinals, I
thought of that instantly.
God damn it. The Cardinals are with Josh Rosen and the defense are looking to continue the Broncos tailspin. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
So the Broncos, I think 2 or 3 weeks in a row have allowed a single rusher to have 200+ yards, which is bad.
Yeah,
especially for a team that has at least recently historically been known for their defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as a result, I have the Broncos on right now. I'm going to switch over to the Cardinals.
Oh! Did you at your last minute switched it over?
Yeah, literally as I was saying, oh, Cardinals.
Yeah.
That's when I clicked it over. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals on this one because I don't see the Broncos offense necessarily getting it going. The Cardinals David Johnson can potentially rush through them if the play calling is there. I don't know. That seems right.
Yeah, I mean, David Johnson has absolutely not been the running back of that in the past, but a lot of that has to do with the offensive line. But look, Josh Rosen, he's done. He's had issues, but he's done all right in his starts, and I believe in the Cardinals defense. So I'm going with the Cardinals as well. It's at home, and the Broncos. They're entering a part where I just feel like they're gonna start to see that maybe Vance Joseph or Case Keenum or both, were not the answers right now at their respective positions.
Yeah.
And that's it's a rough awakening for Denver for sure.
Yep.
Let us move forward here. The Titans and the Chargers, early morning London game.
I can actually watch this one on Sunday.
Yeah. These are.
Will I want to? Let's find out.
Well, we'll see because you got a team Titans who are miserable right now, but
Yep.
they've been bamboozling us a lot. The Chargers are a very, very good team, and they're both of them are playing in their first game in London ever.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be fun. What do you think's gonna happen in this one?
So, I'm doing something very risky,
Okay.
and it's not risky in the sense of like this is like a bad pick or anything, but it's risky in the sense of our current track record.
Okay.
And our superstition / running themes on the show.
Okay.
I'm gonna lock the Chargers.
My friend, I'm also locking the Chargers. Let's go. We're in it together.
Is that the first time we've locked the same team?
Yeah, I think so. For at least for this season, it's their first time. I am with you on this. It's an easy one for me because I feel confident in the Chargers at this point. I think it's a good team. What was? Did you have any additional commentary for your pick?
No, you pretty much summed it up.
Yeah. All right. Next
up, LA. The team that is playing 16 road games this season, they're gonna win.
That's a good point. Patriots at the Bears. Ooh, it's a Super Bowl 80. It's the 1985 Super Bowl rematch. I guess. And it is the Bears defense going up against Tom Brady. And this is going to be a fun matchup, I think. I know the Bears are kind of coming off a really rough loss against the Dolphins. They could have had that. They had that game almost in hand, and they could not pull it out. But I think it'll be close. What do you think's going to happen, Go Cubs?
You cut out for a lot of that. I'm sorry. Which matchup were you talking about?
Patriots Bears. Sorry.
Patriots Bears. I don't want to do this. I feel bad about doing this. But Trubisky had like 2 good games in a row, right?
He had a really good game against the Buccaneers, and he had an okay game against the Dolphins. There was times where he did not look great.
Okay, but still scoring 28 points is good for Trubisky.
Yes, fair enough.
Yes. Maybe the home atmosphere / Bears defense being good, even though it just got torn up by Brock Osweiler, but I don't want to talk about that. Maybe this will happen. I couldn't find another Team Chaos, and I just really want this emotionally and personally.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a mistake, but I'm going to Team Chaos and pick the Bears.
Yeah. I get it. I think it's gonna be a good game. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout or anything. I have faith in the Bears still. I think that they could still be playing some really close games. I'm going with Patriots, but I think it's gonna be a close game. And
that'd be fun.
I always hope that if the Patriots go down and it's because of the Bears, that's gonna be you'll have a field day next podcast.
Hell yes. If that happens, that's automatically our Team Chaos of the week.
I don't think I can't really find another example. We may. I don't know.
Yeah.
But let us move on here. Uh, we have what's next on this list? Oh yes, the Colts and the Bills. There you go. The Bills and the Colts. Two teams that are really struggling now. Josh Allen is going to be out for some time now with the elbow injury, and I think that they're going to start Nathan Peterman, who consistently thinks he plays for the other team.
The other team.
They may start Derek Anderson. I don't. He's an older guy. I don't really know if what he will do for that team. I mean, he may help things.
Both of them are just such bad options.
Andrew Luck, he's still playing well despite the really bad stuff.
Well, he doesn't have the receivers that he should.
Yeah.
Which is a problem for him. But the Bills surprise me, but I don't think they're going to surprise me with Nathan Peterman.
No.
So I'm going with the Colts.
I think if the Colts get healthy, they're a better team when they're healthy overall.
Well, obviously.
I know, obviously. I mean, that's for any team. But, I mean, more specifically,
this
though.
car works better when all the parts are in
it. All right, shut up. All right, anyways. But no, you have Marcus Hunt, who's been out with injury, and he's been really a crucial part of the defense. You have T.Y. Hilton obviously out. He's a very, very important receiver, obviously. This team, if they get those guys back, it easily makes this team better. I do think that they'll beat the Bills on Sunday. I don't know what the situations for either of those players are, but regardless, I have faith in the Colts because they despite everything, the Colts have been in every single game they've played. At the very least, so I for them to lose to the Bills, it would be really sad. So I'll go with the Colts. Yeah. Next up, AFC South battle between the Tide, Texans, and Jaguars. Now the Jaguars, of course, are dealing with a little bit of adversity right now, a 2-game skid. While the Texans are on a 3-game winning streak, coming back from the dead. It seems like after going 0-3. A very intriguing game. What do you think's going to happen?
I don't want to choose either team.
It's a lot of this.
It's a lot. I want to. You know what? I always say mine first. You say yours first.
Okay, I'll go Jaguars for this one because I still think that the Jaguars, they play well at home. The last 2 games have been on the road. I still have faith in their defense. And the Texans, they are really bothering me with how many times they get into the fucking red zone and don't fucking score a touchdown. They are awful. They are an awful fucking team when it comes to that front. But they've won 3 in a row, so it's a very difficult pick. But I'm going Jags.
I'll go Jaguars too. Something interesting that I want to note. So I get point projections for fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
And DeAndre Hopkins has always been 17 to 20 points this week.
Yeah.
Every week consistently. This week he's projected 10.
Yeah, well that's Ramsey for you.
Which I'm not going to not start Hopkins because that's ridiculous.
Well, you could also bet on the fact that maybe the Jaguars defense collapses again.
Yeah.
But
whatever. I'm still going to go with the Jaguars.
Yeah, I'm going with that. It would just bother me to see this team completely not have a defense, especially at home, this week. So I'm going with them. Next up, the Lions at the Dolphins. The Lions are they're coming off of a bye after beating Aaron Rodgers the week before. They are going against the Dolphins team that just it's unstoppable. It's Brocktober, baby. It's fucking it seems like he's either gonna start I think he'll probably get the start this week because I don't know if we've heard anything from Ryan Tannehill. I don't know, it doesn't really affect my pick, but what do you think's gonna happen?
The surprise in my opinion of this past week was Frank Gore for the Dolphins.
He's doing well.
He is infinite. He is Gore. That the fantasy football podcast I listen to, that's their joke for Frank Gore. He is infinite, he is all. he is gore.
He is all. He really is. He keeps going.
Yeah. So I think it's weird to like with the Lions right now because they're in a similar boat to the Texans where you're not really sure if they're gonna show up or not. Or did I say Texans? I meant Titans.
Titans. Yeah.
Whatever. Titans. They're coming off a bye. I don't know how much that will affect things, but I say, especially given the fact that they're at home, I'm gonna have the Dolphins. Dolphins improve their record. Fins up.
I refuse to bet anything in this Miami Dolphins. Give me Team Chaos Lions.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I like that.
Give it to me. Look, my big thing for this is that the Lions. I know Mason Crosby was a big problem with the Packers, but they really, in all other facets, really dominated the Packers, and the Packers are not a good team. The Dolphins, despite everything that has happened with the Dolphins, and as well as they play at home, and they have such a great deep threat with Albert Wilson, and I get that the Dolphins could be a very sneaky good team this year. I still need more proof that they're going to be a consistent factor. And I think this Lions team is starting to get back into things, starting to play well. I like them to go up to beat the Dolphins this week, so I'll go with that.
Okay.
Next up, Vikings at the Jets. Jets currently on a 2-game winning streak. Vikings the same. What do you have in this one, Go Cubs?
The Vikings are tricky now.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. Like, well, one of their losses. So out of their 2 losses, one of them is understandable because it's the Rams,
mm-hmm.
and one of them was the Bills.
Right.
So like, they're safe to pick, but you just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't always know with them because what if something happens? The Jets have proven that they can take down tough foes.
Yeah.
That you might not have expected them to take down. That being said, I'm still going with the Vikings.
I
just wanted to bring those points up.
Yeah, no, the Jets are good. Or no, I shouldn't say they've been frisky this year. I think Sam Darnold's getting better as well. But I gotta go with the Vikings because I do think that the team that we thought that we were going to see coming into this year is starting to come to fruition. So I'm going with the Vikings in this one.
Yes.
Sneaky good game for this next game. Panthers at Eagles. We got the Panthers, who are coming off of a tough loss, but they're looking for their defense to kind of their defense started playing well near the end of the game, as we said earlier. So they're going to try to stop Carson Wentz this week, who's coming off a really nice win against the Giants last week. What do you got in this one?
The Eagles are still, I believe, still dealing with some injuries. Though most of them have kind of finally like ended, like they're starting to like get their team back.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously trounced the Giants. But I think with how well the Panthers were playing before this past week, and then like getting their group against Washington, I think they have a chance. And both teams, well, Eagles are 3-3, which is not great for them, not what you would have expected. Panthers being 3-2, I think is still good for where they are. I'm gonna go with the Panthers. I might regret that, but I think this is gonna be close.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna go with my personal preference.
It's going to be a close game. I will defer. I'll go Eagles because I feel like Carson Wentz has found Carson Wentz in this offense is generally, I think they're starting to find themselves, and they don't need to as much. They can rely on the running game, and Corey Clement, I think, is going to start to play very well for this team.
God, I hope so. Yeah, personally.
Yeah, there's a lot. The running games generally, I think, is going to be good for the Eagles, despite losing Jay Ajayi. That they'll find themselves.
Yeah.
But the wide receiver core is coming back and doing well with Alshon Jeffrey back. Zach Ertz is still the guy for them, and I think the defense. People kind of were like, "Oh, well, they're not getting as much pressure as last year." They're starting to get the pressure on. They're getting there. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles in this one, especially at home. Next up, the Cleveland Browns go to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. Interesting uniform matchup. It's very.
Why'd you have to point that out to me?
This is very interesting.
The two worst uniforms.
But anyways, so Jameis Winston, can he continue his groove in this game, or will the Browns find their way back on the winning track?
Don't fucking let me down, Cleveland.
You're going Browns?
I'm gonna go Browns.
Nice.
Reluctantly, but I don't. Part of this is I don't want the Buccaneers to succeed. And part of it is because I think the Browns have the advantage in both the sense that their defense has the potential to stop the Buccaneers offense, and their offense is good enough to pick apart the Buccaneers defense. Buccaneers just start over. Buccaneers just fired their defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Yeah, I really want to go Browns in this one. I do. The thing is with the like you said, the Buccaneers just fired their defensive coordinator. And the weird thing that I've seen with the NFL is that the week after a team fires a coordinator, they end up having the reverse game that none of us expects. Like, all of a sudden, the players that we thought were really bad all of a sudden play really well, and the defense shows up. They're at home, and I have a lot of faith in not necessarily Winston, but the offense around Winston to give them the win in this one. So I'm going Buccaneers in this one. So next up, the New Orleans Saints against the Baltimore Ravens. A really good game for this week. Ravens very much strong on defense, while the Saints, with Drew Brees leading the way, are looking to kind of take down the Ravens while in Baltimore. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
This was one of the hardest ones to decide for me. I am picking a lot of weird picks this week, I think. Probably not the best idea given the fact that we are close in picks.
It's all good.
I don't know. I think Baltimore will surprise. I think that they will ride the momentum. Well, both teams have a lot of momentum going for them. Baltimore with the 11 sacks against the Titans, and then the Saints with Drew Brees becoming the passing leader 2 weeks ago. Both teams have some momentum. I might give it to the team with home field advantage.
I will also. I'm going with Baltimore Ravens. Right. It just because I think that the defense played well enough on the road, where the Titans were really actually doing a lot of their great performances. I think that now that the Ravens are at home against a Saints team that, look, all respect to Drew Brees and that offense, the offense is certainly going to be a very tough battle for the Ravens. I think that the Ravens are going to take care of business in this one. I think it's going to be a really good game, but I would put my money on Baltimore, so I'll go with them.
But we don't bet, so.
Right. No betting here. Next up, the Los Angeles Rams, who were originally going to be playing on Sunday Night Football, got flexed. So now they are playing on CBS at 4 o'clock against the 49ers, who tried to upset for Aaron Rodgers, did not get it done. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
Well, the Rams are a good team.
Yep.
So 7-0.
I would be surprised if the Rams don't win this one, but it was a frisky pick for me though. This was really I was tempted. I was so tempted.
I know you were tempted.
Yeah, but it did not happen. Rams, for this one. Next up, the Cowboys go up against the Washington Redskins. And it's gonna be an interesting battle because the Redskins have been dominant at home, while the Cowboys have been not dominant on the road. 0-3 on the road to be exact. What's gonna happen in this one, Go Cubs?
That's a pretty good indication of how this should go.
Right.
I gotta go with Washington.
I'm going Washington as well. It's just because they have found their niche and it's working for them. I'm not gonna buy into the Cowboys until they prove to me another week that they can win, especially on the road, and especially against a good divisional matchup. So I'm going with them. Sunday Night Football. Patrick Mahomes returns once again to the Sunday Night Lights.
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and we'll be going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Andy Dalton.
This is the playoff game that I want.
Yeah, this is it's a big old playoff game. And
these two teams better fucking make the playoffs and face each other so that one of them can end their fucking curse.
Well, it has to be specifically the Chiefs at home.
Well, yeah, Chiefs at home.
Yeah. And
Ravens win the division, Bengals get the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
Like fourth and fifth seed. No, Chiefs will probably be higher than that. Whatever. I don't know. Either way.
You got
Either way.
Bengals are...
There will be a playoff game between the Chiefs and Bengals in Arrowhead. New ball prediction.
There you go. Let's just erase the one that was earlier. That doesn't exist.
Yep. Okay, new ball prediction. This one at this moment in time, with how well, just the beautiful play, at least later on, that the Chiefs offense has, and excuse me, hiccups. Okay, wow, has had this season. I think they have just a little bit of an edge against the Bengals.
It's gonna be a good game.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I don't think it's a good idea to pick. Wow, hiccups! Stop.
We're both having throat issues.
A super good idea to pick against them. Yet.
Yeah, I mean, I did it last week, so no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The Chiefs are the better team in this one. I'm gonna go with them. The Bengals, they're gonna. It's gonna be tough for them to go on a 2-game skid. They should try to show up here, but it is an Arrowhead, and the Chiefs have been very good in Arrowhead, so I'm going with them on this one. And last but not least, Monday Night Football. Chef kiss, beauty, Giants at Falcons. Was that a chef kiss and then a hiccup?
Yes.
The Falcons looking to continue their winning streak against the Giants, or just generally rather. And the Giants they're a mess, but will they find hope at all in this one?
I don't think so. I think that the Falcons offense, dude, holy shit. Led by Matt Ryan, like they've had some problems, like especially Freeman now going on IR.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they're in that poor of shape, because Tevin Coleman is still good. Ito Smith is going to get some work, but Calvin really has been impressing. Julio Jones has like set a record for like most receiving yards without a touchdown.
Yeah,
that guy's still a monster, even if he's not scoring.
Yeah.
Like, they're just so good. And I don't think that, like, even with Barkley and Beckham, I don't think the Giants are going to do it. I'm going Falcons.
I'm going Falcons as well. It's an easy pick for me because I just don't have any faith in the Giants. But the Falcons are a offensively very good team, and while their defense is not good, they'll all they need to do is really control Saquon Barkley and not let Odell Beckham go crazy, and you're good.
All they need is an offense and a defense and a few rule changes.
Right, exactly. So I'm going Falcons in this one. All right. Wow. So on a short week of only 14 games, we deferred on 4 games. I'm pretty sure that is our maximum.
That's a record. Usually we have 3.
Yeah. So we got a lot of differences.
I got a bit friskier with my picks, I think.
Just say that one more time.
I got a bit friskier with my picks than usual.
Yeah. I really there was somewhere I really wanted to pick the Browns. And I mean the Dolphins I would have picked if I did not have a Team Chaos, if I had to go with Team Chaos, but it's just to me those were the ones that were like out there that I was like I gotta go for this one. But it will be interesting to see how it all plays out there.
Go fantasy with Go Cubs time.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Eagles running backs. Corey Clement, Wendell Smallwood. Get both of not both of them. Get one of them. I have Clement. Because that's who I drafted in my Dynasty League. But I think both of them are going to be startable here on out, even against Carolina defense. They're going to be splitting work, yes, but they'll get enough to justify things. I'm going to just, holy shit. Why is Tyler Boyd playing so good? I have to mention it. I have to. Because he's
oh god, you're gonna give me an aneurysm.
He's a wide receiver 2 on a team, and he's outperforming so many other wide receiver 1s on other teams.
Oh my god.
He is. If your league doesn't have him for some reason, get him.
Oh my god.
We're getting into the stretch where a lot of your starting quarterbacks are going to be on bye. Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, for example, this week, both on byes. Pick up someone facing a bad defense, such as
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff. People probably have Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Someone probably has Jared Goff, but Jared Goff would be good. Baker Mayfield may even be a feasible option.
Yes.
People definitely own Matt Ryan. I don't know if Eli is the best streaming option this week.
No. Don't touch.
Well, I mean, it is the Falcons' defense. But...
No, I know, but don't.
Yeah. Right. But there's I don't know. Quarterbacks are weird.
We'll see.
You can start pretty much anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got. Eagles running backs was the big point there.
Yeah, Wendell Smallwood specifically, I think he played a pretty good game on Thursday. So he'll have a reduced role this week. But he was definitely a big contributor for that group. So pretty good. All right, so I think that pretty much takes care of this podcast for that. Both hiccup and Go Cubs and the coughing me or just
I don't understand what's going on.
We gotta get out of here before it's too late, before both our heads explode. But yeah, it should be a fun week ahead. And a lot of fun matchups, a lot of interesting games to watch. So enjoy your football as always. Any last recommendations or anything, Go Cubs?
What should I recommend? What do you think I should recommend, Chris? What form of media?
Weren't you and Ace discussing a cartoon recently?
Yes, Ace and I were discussing Disenchantment, which you can watch the first season of on Netflix. Is from Matt Groening, the creator of such classics as The Simpsons and Futurama. It is not quite as good as those two. It's better than recent Simpsons, but I am hoping it gets more episodes because it has a lot of good stuff, and I hope it continues to do well. If you like Futurama, you'll probably like Disenchantment.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Go Cubs, for joining me on the podcast. Go get a drink of water, please.
Yeah.
And I am Chris, and thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Be good to one another, be kind to one another, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.